Hey, and welcome to World Ablaze, the most difficult mod for Hearts of Iron 4. If you think vanilla is too easy, if you think all mods are too easy, this is the very simple solution that I offer you. Play this mod here. It's difficult and practically changes Hoi into a new game with how many mechanics and complicated, annoying situations it can add. For example, in the vanilla game, Germany is the easiest country to win as. I've played as Germany a couple times in World Ablaze, and it's nearly impossible. I guess if I played the mod more, it might be easier, but that aside. Today, though, we'll be playing as the United States, a country more difficult than Germany in vanilla, so I can only imagine how difficult it will be here. We'll start off by setting up an intelligence agency so that we can begin sending operatives. In vanilla, my strategy as the US is to attack Japan early when we get a free war goal against them in 1938 or so, but here I doubt that strategy will work very well considering the difficulty of things. I'm still gonna go for Japan before Germany, so I'll send my agents over there, and building up intel probably won't be too bad. Japan tends to be pretty weak on the intelligence front, so we should be able to build up a giant network and decrypt their cipher with ease, because unfortunately for them, they don't have a great tool to encrypt their data as it traverses across the planet, across a web of networks of nodes of information, you could say. They unfortunately don't have a tool like NordVPN, this video's sponsor by chance. And NordVPN not only fully encrypts your data, but for extra protection, it can route the traffic through two servers, doubling the encryption. It has amazing speed, can be used on 6 devices, and supports every major platform. NordVPN has over 5,500 servers in 60 different countries, and using that, you can get access to games or discounts for games that might not be available in your region. It also protects you from dangerous DDoS attacks and malware, and the best part is it does all this without affecting your internet speeds or performance, so you can still join multiplayer Hoi lobbies without lagging behind and getting kicked from the game. And even better, the Germany player can't DDoS you once you make a few encirclements. There's also a great new bundle deal for a NordVPN, NordPass, and NordLocker, so head over to nordvpn.com/DShakey today. And thanks again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. We'll definitely make sure to protect ourselves in this game too. So anyways, Cuba being the same color as us is a little weird. I keep getting confused. We are going to do the Adjusted Compensation Act, then probably Undistributed Profits Tax, and then both of these because we can do both. Because the Great Depression exists as its own national spirit, but this mod introduces a new economy kind of system. It's not like a TNO economy system, it's a economy fatigue system, and our economy fatigue starts very high. So we'll be using this already existing system to decrease fatigue until we have an actually useful industry. We also have to deal with internal factions. The only faction that really is happy and loves us right now is Kaiser's Industries, but we'll have to make Ford and Chrysler and GM and JP Morgan happy. Kind of reminds me of ANCAP America a little bit. Research is similar to vanilla. The layout's just a bit changed, and tanks and ships are a lot like the base game, not the DLC versions of tanks and ships, but they are still very complicated compared to the base game. It'll be fun trying to find out something that works to invade Japan and Germany with. But we start with a lot of early technology research, so all the technology that we can research right now is ahead of time, so we kind of just decide what we want to go into and start researching that a bit early. We'll need a lot of good planes and CAS, of course. I don't know if this mod balances CAS, but I'll still make a bit of it as America either way, even if it's not overpowered in this mod specifically. And like, these focuses on the left here make the public like us more, but it makes the businesses more hostile towards us. My plan is probably going to be to make the public really happy and then fix the business's opinion, because the public has widespread influence, obviously. These businesses only have a high influence, though them having high influence is giving us 8% consumer goods, JP Morgan, that is. So we might need to make JP Morgan happy somehow. Like, I could do this focus, but I really don't want to. I guess I could do some nice public peacetime fireside chats with the people. That's kind of wholesome, right? Also, in vanilla, New England is just one state, but here we have separate states for Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Cape Cod, and Boston are their own states. It's kind of crazy how many states there are. Like, Las Vegas is its own state. Also, don't freak out because this mod just has a different balance for things, but in World Ablaze, we start off with nearly 900 civilian factories. With the Great Depression, we can't use many of those, but that's kind of just the normal. Like, for example, France has 130, Germany has 200, the UK has 170. I have no clue how many the Soviets have. Japan has 80 or so. And as much as I'd love to negotiate with the banks and JP Morgan, we can't do this decision to negotiate with them and make them happy until we do this Appoint William focus. And to do the Appoint William focus, we have to do the Giant Awakes. And to do the Giant Awakes, we have to do the Cash and Carry Amendment, and to do that we have to have a certain amount of world tension, or a major power has to have capitulated. Notably, not just an allied one, even an Axis one will work, but France is going to be the first one to capitulate regardless, if they even do. It would be kind of sad if they don't, though. We're also making lots of investments into Rhode Island, which I had mentioned previously, to make the politicians there happy. Surprisingly, Rhode Island has a lot of representatives, or just a lot of representatives from elsewhere in the country really like Rhode Island. It might be the smallest state, but everybody loves it in World Ablaze. And I forgot to mention this earlier too, but there are additional resources that are added through this mod: coal, bauxite, and iron. Luckily though, we have an excess of all those, so we will not have to worry. Just like in vanilla, we only have to worry about chromium and rubber really as America. And we will finally at last get our silent workhorse right before the election. I don't know if we can even choose a different candidate. We'll have to see. It does say there's an election, and if this thing says there's an election, there is always an election. Maybe they'll add some new cool candidates. Can finally choose some third-party people. We're really building up Ohio too. It's just kind of a coincidence, though. They just have good infrastructure and their representatives are offering support. We have a lot of support, though. Okay, well, there is an election, but they removed the other option, so no ALF. Very sad, but this mod isn't about alt history stuff. This mod is about a very difficult historical game. Okay, and we're finally going to do a focus that favors the companies, the big businesses over the people. I swear, though, it's only because the people are already happy. We've been pampering them already and they're calm. We need to make Ford and Chrysler a little more happy with us so we can get more construction speed. Then we can get a new research slot soon. Our economy has also recovered a lot. So this economy mechanic I showed off earlier has gone down to 30%. So we're only a straining economy instead of a crumbling or collapsing economy. In no time we'll be back up to just a sensitive economy. Here we're just researching fighters and casts, and we have a new fighter, so we'll start producing that. We're making 5 a year. That's great. The warped economy thing puts a big strain on how well military factories can produce stuff, in addition to not being able to use really any of our civilian factories. And of course, the undisturbed isolation is the main thing. That's even worse than crumbling economy. Minus 60% factory output and 50% consumer goods. Yep, now we have complete support in Congress. We're a little more comfy with Ford. We can't quite do this focus yet, so we can't really get the research slot, but there are quite a few other focuses that we need to do. There is also the America First path, so there obviously are some alt history path still in here. Maybe we can do that. I don't know. I think you just have to get the certain political advisor. We're also going to send an attaché to China. We finally, over the course of a year and a half, got 50 command power. And if we do this, we get 10% war support, which is kind of good, but I don't think matters too much. In vanilla, that would be more useful as America, but unfortunately not here. It's a little more balanced. We also have a decision to search for oil in the Middle East. A very American decision, I have to say. But I don't know about that one. I'd prefer like one where we can manage fast food industry. And we have so much extra political power that I might as well make Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico states. Hawaii is the most important one because it makes defending it easier, but the other ones are nice too. There's nobody in Alaska, but at least Puerto Rico has some manpower and one factory. And now we have a small crisis known as the Roosevelt recession we have to deal with. The best thing to do though is to just let it work itself out. So we'll have some issues for a little while longer, getting worse again, but it'll get better someday. And now we have our second operative, so we can begin infiltrating the Navy, which will be very important to us as we're the United States. They're our only real enemy in the Pacific. I don't know how powerful they are in this mod, so intelligence will be everything. Now finally, world tension is high enough that we can continue doing focuses. These are just bad ones that give us decisions and stuff, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Like, I was literally suppressing subjects, and we only have one subject, and there's really no point in making them an integrated puppet. We would get like 4 factories. Also, notably in this mod, the Soviets actually do declare on Poland, like they historically did. Okay, I might have accidentally made my own faction. I didn't really intend to do this, but it's okay. I'm sure it'll maybe come in handy, but we can't join the Allies now. I was just kind of being stupid. And finally, world tension is now high enough that we can do the cash and carry amendment. It takes 21 days, and then we can do the giant awakes, finally start fixing our economy. It's gonna be a good day. And now that we've done the giant awakes that we had to do the cash and carry amendment for, we can do the limited rearmament focus to replace the Great Depression with slow recovery. And then when we have slow recovery, we'll be allowed to go on to partial mobilization. Oh, never mind about that actually. You have to have all the recoveries gone to. It increases economic fatigue anyways, so it's probably not the best idea. But it's good that we're on civilian economy now. Hopefully we'll be able to go into volunteer only soon too. Yeah, but we need a lot. We need about 11% more war support to do that, but it just takes forever to train divisions on Disarmed Nation, and we have no manpower. And now since we lead this giant faction, we became spy master and got another operative, so now we'll start building up a collaboration government in Japan, which you need 3 operatives for in this mod. I guess it's kind of risky. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. And Greenland is now under the protection of us, the United States. When we get a lot of compliance there, it's gonna be very fun overseeing Greenland. I guess since we have so much compliance, we can just do civilian economy. They won't resist us. Germany is going for Denmark and Norway first. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen over there. I'm more focused on the Pacific. Finally making military factories too. We're pretty low on heavy infantry equipment and trucks, so that's what I'm mainly going to be producing. These are really good decisions. We can delete 8 civilian factories to get 40 military factories. Yeah, I'll do that. And then this one, you can delete 4 civs to get 20 mils. That's honestly pretty good. We also had a few decisions to get 100 tungsten in California, which is good. We have a focus to get 200 extra oil, which doesn't matter too much. If we need more oil, we can just go on to export focus. Japan now has the Imperial Rule Assistance Association, which decreases our intelligence by 50%, making our intelligence 0 across everything, so we can no longer tell what they're going to do. We still have another year or so before we have to fight them though, and that's enough time to start building up some infantry divisions to put on the islands and making some Marines. And now we'll do this focus here to get 2 research slots, which seems like a lot, but there's so much to research that it's not too crazy to give us 2 right now. Meanwhile, Germany is just building up. They have a lot of military factories, but no one compares to our civilian factory count. We now have a cool focus here to get some National Guard divisions to make up for the fact that we had no manpower and couldn't really train any people for the past 5 in-game years now. We have enough war support though to finally go on to limited conscription or volunteer only, but I'm just gonna use this focus here to go onto volunteer only without paying the political power. And yeah, things are finally getting a bit better. We can even go into partial mobilization now. So we'll get access to a lot more factories, though it will start giving us some economic fatigue. We're losing so much economic fatigue that it doesn't matter. Anyways, that's all for today. Finishing this is going to be a long and treacherous battle, of course, but I can't wait to see what happens, how difficult it really ends up being, and I'll see you all in that part 2.